Hey guys, welcome to lesson 2-3, solving multi-step equations. Our objective for the day is that I can solve multi-step equations with one variable. The essential understanding, what we're going to be using is a series of properties of equality, inverse operations, and properties of real numbers to isolate the variable, and we are going to end up with simpler equivalent equations each time we do it. So the first way, or the first time we need to do this is with problem number 1, combining like terms. We're going to start by combining our like terms. So we've got 2x and 4x. Those can be added together to 6x minus 9 is equal to 15. And now if we subtract, or add 9 to both sides, 6x is going to be equal to 24. Divide both sides by 6, and x is equal to 4. Alright, so this is going to be just like the work we did yesterday, except now we have to take the step of combining like terms first. So we've got negative 4x plus 6x. Negative 4 plus 6 is a positive 2x. Plus 10 is equal to 14. We're going to subtract 10 from both sides. And 2x is equal to 4. Divide both sides by 2, and x is equal to 2. Letter C. Negative 2x minus 4 minus 2x. So we have a minus 2x. We have minus 2x. Those two combine to be negative 4x minus 4 is equal to 12. Add 4 to both sides. Negative 4x is equal to 16. Divide both sides by negative 4. And x is equal to negative 4. Alright, now you guys give the 3 at the bottom a try, and we will come back with the answers. Alright, for letter A, we got negative 3x plus 7x is going to be 4x. So we start with negative 23 on the left, equals 4x plus 5. Subtract 5 from both sides of the equation. Negative 28 is equal to 4x. Divide both sides by 4. And negative 7 is equal to x. Letter B. We have 11m and negative 6m. 11 minus 6 is 5m. Minus 8 is equal to 22. Add 8 to both sides. 5m is equal to 30. Divide both sides by 5. And m is equal to 6. Alright. Negative 2y plus 5y is going to be 3y. We still have the plus 5 is equal to 14. Subtract 5 from both sides of the equation. 3y is equal to 9. Divide both sides by 3. And y is equal to 3. Alright. Problem number 2. We are going to be applying these to a word problem. So we're going to be solving a multi-step equation. Noah and Kate are shopping for guitar strings. Noah buys 2 packs of strings, and Kate buys 2 packs of strings and a music book that costs $16. Their total cost is going to be $72. We want to know how much is 1 pack of strings. So let's underline some important information. So Noah's buying 2 packs. Kate is also buying 2 packs. And she's buying a book that costs $16. And the last piece of information that's probably pretty important is that the total cost is $72. Alright, so now that word is, remember, that tells us we're going to have an equal sign in there. So let's define a variable. So I'm going to just pick x and say x is the cost of our strings, because that is what we do not know. So let's just start building our equation. Noah buys 2 packs, so it's going to be 2 packs times the number or the cost of the strings, which is X. And we've got Kate buying 2 packs, so she's going to have a plus 2X. But she also bought that book, and it was $16. We're going to have a plus 16. And their total cost is equal to $72. All right, so we are going to combine like terms. 2x plus 2x is going to be 4x, plus 16 is equal to 72. Subtract 16 from both sides. 4x is equal to 56. And we're going to divide both sides by 4. X is equal to 14. But is that our complete answer? No, Mrs. Smith, it is not. We need to include our units. So 14 is just a number. We need to say that it is $14 per pack.
Bad pen.
Make sure we've got our units. And we've got Eddie Vedder there as he was performing at Wrigley. Lead singer of Pearl Jam. Great band. Best show I've ever seen. And Homer.
We're moving on.
All right, fine. We'll move on. Jason bought 5 movie tickets and a bag of popcorn. Jeremy bought 2 movie tickets, and they spent a total of $54. If popcorn cost $5, how much did each ticket cost? All right, so Mrs. Smith is underlining the important pieces of information again. We've got that $54 total, and we've got included in there that popcorn is $5. All right, so let's start. Again, let's define a variable. X is going to be our cost of our ticket. All right, so let's see. We've got Jason buying 5 tickets, so it's going to be 5 times X. And he bought a bag of popcorn, which we saw was $5. And Jeremy bought 2 tickets, so that's 2 times X, and their total was 54. Okay, so now let's combine our like terms. We have a 5x plus 2x, so that gives us a total of 7x, plus 5 is equal to 54. We're going to subtract 5 from both sides of the equation. And then divide both sides of the equation by 7. And we find that x is equal to 7. That our complete answer?
Oops.
No. We need to know the units too. So it's going to be $7 per ticket. And, well, you guys all know where I will be on December 14th when Last Jedi comes out, because I'll be at the midnight premiere. Can't wait. It's going to be fun. Hopefully there's a new trailer soon. Anyways, moving on. All right. Problem number 3, solving a problem using the distributive property. There are 2 approaches to solving these, and so we're going to show you both, and I don't care which way you use, as long as your math is sound. They're both acceptable ways of solving the problem. So the first one would be to actually use the distributive property and distribute the 3 times the 2x and the 3 times the negative 6. So we have 18 equals 6x minus 18. So now we need to add 18 to both sides of the equation. 36 is equal to 6x. Divide both sides by 6. And x is equal to 6. So that's one way of doing things. Letter B, we'll take this second approach. So we have 12 times the quantity, 3 minus x, is equal to 60. Well, if you notice, when we distributed that 3 the first time, we ended up having to divide it out anyways later. So we can just start by dividing it in the first place. So we'll divide both sides of the equation by 12. And we get rid of distribution. We're left with 3 minus x is equal to 5. So now we're going to subtract 3 from both sides of the equation. And negative x is equal to 2. So we need to use that multiplication property of negative 1 or division property of negative 1. And x is equal to negative 2. All right? So whichever approach you choose is the one that you choose. And I'm not going to tell you one way or the other. Give it a shot. Try in problems A, B, and C if you want. Try both approaches and see which one you would prefer. All right. Letter A. We have 3 times the quantity, 3x minus 4 is equal to negative 21.
So on this one, I would divide out the 3. I would divide by 3.
All right. So we have a 3x minus 4 left is equal to negative 7. Add 4 to both sides of the equation. 3x is equal to negative 3. Divide both sides by 3. X is equal to negative 1. Letter B. We've got just a negative sign there.
All right, well, I would probably, because I don't like to have my variables being negative, I know that this is a negative 1. I would probably distribute this one because I don't like my x's being negative. So negative 1 times a negative 5x would give me 5x, and negative 1 times a positive 2 is going to give me negative 2, and then I've gotten rid of all my negatives.
And then we go back to solving as we always have. Add 2 to both sides. 5x is equal to 20. Divide both sides by 5. X is equal to 4. Last problem, I would divide this one by negative 2.
Me too.
So 3x plus 9 is equal to negative 12. Subtract 9 from both sides. 3x is equal to negative 21. Divide both sides by 3. And x is equal to negative 7. Okay. Last part of what we're going to work on today is problems that involve solving equations that contain fractions. Remember, fractions are our friends. They should not scare us. So what we can do in order to combine those like terms on the left, because we have a y term on both pieces, we just need to get a common denominator for those two fractions. So the first one we're going to multiply by 4 over 4, which, if you'll remember, is that identity property from Chapter 1. The second fraction we're going to multiply by 5 over 5. Still the identity property. We're just multiplying by 1. And now we can actually do the math. So we end up with 8y over 20 plus 15y over 20 equal to 3. Combined like terms, we get 23y over 20. 15 plus 8 is 23. And now we dealt with this before. All we need to do is multiply by the reciprocal of that fraction. So we're going to multiply by 20 over 23, which gives us 60 over 23. We'll leave it as a fraction. Perfectly fine. All right. Letter B, I see the like terms that I want to combine are just going to be those two fractions, the 1/9 and the 5/6. A common denominator that the two of those would have would be 18.
18.
So we're going to multiply 1/9 by 2 over 2.
Can I do it a different way?
Sure.
Can I show them a different way?
Sure.
All right, because I hate fractions, and I see that 9, 6, and 3 are all that 18. So I'm going to actually multiply this entire thing by 18. So I look at it and I see 18 times 1 is 18. 18 divided by 9 is 2. 18 times 5 is a pretty big number. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I could look and see that 18 divided by 6 is 3. 3 times 5 is 15. 18 divided by 3 is going to be 6. 6 times that negative 1m is negative 6m. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's
All
right.
right. I think it's a little easier. So I'm going to subtract 15 on both sides. Does this come up with a weird fraction?
Yep.
Okay, it does. Okay, negative 13 is negative 6m. Get the m by itself, divide by negative 6. M is going to be equal to 13/6.
Okay. Make sure you guys don't get tripped up with the negative signs there. You have negative divided by negative, which is going to be a positive. And then, once again, just leave it as the fraction. You don't need to write it as mixed number. Improper fractions are perfectly fine in Algebra 1. All right. Go ahead and give letters A and B a try. A and C. Again, I forgot to change the letter. Try A and B and give them a shot. We'll go over the answers in a moment.
Okay.
All right, so letter A, I see that we can combine those like terms by getting a common denominator of 8. So we multiply by 2 over 2 using the identity property. And our x over 8 can just remain the same. So we have 6x over 8 minus x over 8 is equal to 5. 6 minus 1 is 5x over 8. And we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, which is just 8 over 5. And x is going to be equal to 8. Okay. Letter BC, we got 5y minus 3/5 equals 4/5. So there we just need to add 3/5 to both sides. They have a common denominator. So we have 5y is equal to 7/5. And we are going to divide by 5, which is the same as multiplying by 1/5, if you remember our fraction rules. And y is going to be equal to 7 over 25. And again, just leave that as the fraction. All right? So we've got our usual end of the lesson there. Circle your rating for how well you understood this lesson. Remember to write down any questions you might have, particularly, or I'm going to guess especially, on the fractions. That might be where you might be getting tripped up. And make sure you write your summary of what you've learned in this lesson. And we will see you all in class tomorrow.